Alright, welcome back everyone to our continued adventures on the Let's Defend platform. We are tackling the Mac OS Malware challenge. I'm not a Mac user, so this will be probably a very big pain in the posterior. So, description. Mac StealthWare has recently emerged as a new and formidable threat in the world of Mac OS security. Like typical Mac or malware, Mac StealthWare is highly sophisticated and uses advanced evasion techniques to avoid detection by traditional security measures. The malware is typically distributed through malicious email attachments, fake software updates, or compromised websites. Unexpecting users inadvertently download and run the malware, believing it to be legitimate software. And so we are given a Windows VM with, on the desktop, a tools folder and a challenge file. I've already got that spun up and connected. So take a look at the questions that we have. How many web browsers does this malware target for data extraction? Hint, search the main function about browsers. How many different cryptocurrency wallets are targeted? Check the wallets targeted by malware in the main section. What is the specific part of the file path that allows the user's home directory that is related to CoinAmi and is used by the malware? Check the wallet paths in the main function. So it seems like we're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the main function. What is the Telegram identifier that is used by the malware? Okay, we got something different that doesn't mention the main function. What is the IP address used by malware to send data over HTTP? Search for the function used by malware to send the stolen data. Let's see, what's the offset function used to grab chromium? Find the function that is grab chromium using the function name and IDA. And click to view the address. What is the offset of the send underscore data underscore via underscore HTTP function used by the malware? Search for send API and click on xref to see the send function. What command is used by the malware to obtain information about hardware components on the Mac OS system? Okay. So we transition to the system. So like I said, tools, challenge files on the desktop. I've extracted out from sample.7zip just the sample file, loaded up IDA free, and this is effectively where we are. So the very first thing we're looking for is how many web browsers, which looks like it's going to be a single-digit number. So let's go take a look. File grabber, users, application support. Okay. Now we're looking for various sections. So we've got Chrome, we've got Firefox, we got Brave, we got Edge, Fidelia, Opera, Opera GX. Huh. Well, let's try 7. That's the section that's back here. All right, 7 is correct. So again, that is just by opening up an IDA and then just scrolling through the code as it's dumped out. And that's by taking a look at everything that's there as opposed to, I mean, the other answer that I would have considered would have been 5 with the listing that would have been presented down here with just Chrome, Brave, Edge, Opera, Opera GX, even though there are, what, Firefox and, what's the, or Vidalia that would have been missed. And then we're looking for, so looks like it grabs FileZilla. Search and grab Chromium. Keychain. Okay, so as we continue to scroll down through the sample, now we're seeing a bunch of different wallets. That looks like this is going to be a single digit too. So Electrum, Konami, Exodus, Atomic, Desk. But then we have only 4 that are listed there. Desk wallets, Electrum, CoinMy, Exodus, Atomic. So I guess running with like I'm gonna say 3 because we're gonna use the top one. No. So Electrum, CoinMy, Exodus, Atomic, 4? Not 45. No. And then we get down to desk wallets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's try 8. Which is odd. I mean, you would think that it would just be 4, honestly. I mean, we got desk wallets. But then it's desk wallets, Atomic, Exodus, CoinMy, Electrium. But then we end up with the same thing. It's directly above there where we're looking for Atomic, local storage, level DB. We're looking at Exodus, which is mentioned for desk wallets. Five, maybe? Because I see down here wallets, Binance, hot. And it looks like that just kind of stops. Because we're still sticking inside of main. So what about 5 then? Okay. So then that makes sense because it's a different group. Because I was just looking since it was all listed inside of here. So the Electrum, CoinMy, Exodus, Atomic. And then it's split off into another subsection where it's further down where it mentions Binance. Okay, and then we're looking for the specific. What is the specific part of the file path that allows the user's home directory that is related to CoinMy and is used by the malware? That is used by CoinMy. So would it just be CoinMy/wallets? Well, I mean, we've only got 2 spots. It's either going to be CoinMy/wallets or it's going to be desk wallets CoinMy. It's CoinMy/wallets. What is the Telegram identifier that is used by the malware? For the next question. Something dot to something's dot. It's this right here. Can I extend that out? Ah, crap. All right, here we go. That broke that down a little bit more. So it's going to be, I'm assuming, you know what they say about making assumptions, but because this level of reverse engineering is not really my forte, I can stumble through it as apparently I'm doing a fairly decent job as it sits right now. But so we've got a grouping of something dot ru, which looks to be the two dot keepcoder dot telegram. And that's correct. So starting in 6N38 VWS5BX.RU.KeepCoder.Telegram. Although I suppose I could take this and move this a little bit further over, leave a little bit more of that. Maybe, possibly. All right. So IDA freeware, at least in this particular function, seems to be working well. And now we get to what's probably the harder aspect. So what is the IP address used? So let's go back. We'll do a quick. So we counted the web browsers that were mentioned. We got 7. We took a look at the cryptocurrency wallets. There were 4 in one group, and the 5th was in a subgroup below that. The first mention of CoinMy, Coinami, maybe, is where we pulled the Konami/wallets. And then looking for any sort of mention in regards to Telegram is what directed us to this last part. Okay. So yeah, just, what, how many left? 1, 2, 3, 4? Yep, okay. So this is not as bad as what I was expecting, considering the fact that I am not a this level of code jockey all that often. So then we are looking for a function to send. So I don't suppose that, this would be as easy as underscore send data via HTTP. I think it was. So whoever designed this thing apparently, and I don't know if it's just IDA doing most of the work or what, but if we take a look at the functions section, there is an underscore send underscore data underscore via underscore HTTP, which it's not exactly the same, but so the question itself is what IP address is used by malware to send data over HTTP. So the hint is pretty damn spot on, my guess. And that looks like that's 91.103.252.213. Okay. And now we need to find the function that is grab chromium. And then we're looking for the offset. So right here, this is the underscore send underscore data underscore via underscore HTTP. There is a section or a function further down, underscore search and grab chromium. And that takes us directly to this. Let me see chromium. But now the question is, where am I going to find the offset? All right, so we have the search and grab chromium. I don't suppose there's like a section in here where it could actually tell us exactly and just be nice. Yeah, not likely. I mean, we've got all this, but that looks like that's just a little bit much. And I don't really want to screw with it. But so we need something that starts with 0x, but the closest I can find is the address. So I'm wondering if I can just do 0x and then fill out the rest of this. This would be here. So the 100022 Delta Firefox 0. Okay, that was a shot in the dark, but apparently it was the right shot in the dark. So just taking the address the address of that function and then doing, I kind of figured that, okay, it's going to come up to the very first section. So zeros and then X to denote that, just nothing but zeros to fill out the rest of it. And then we actually get to the meat and potatoes, as it were. The 100022 Delta Firefox 0. And then we need to get the same section for the offset for send data via HTTP, which thankfully we already had that pulled up. So if we go to send data, and what we get should be 0x100021 Delta Firefox 0. So I'm just going to copy that. We're going to paste this into here, and we're going to clean this up. We're going to remove the leading zeros, and we're just going to convert, and we're going to pray that that's the same exact thing, and it's not just a fluke. Apparently it is not. Then we get down to what command is used by the malware to obtain information about hardware components on the Mac OS system. Look for the function called user info. Okay then. I will look for the section or the function that's called user info because this has been spot on thus far. Attributes. So what are we looking for? What command is sent? So it should be something underscore something space. Okay, it's right here in the middle of it, where it specifically calls out system underscore profiler space SP hardware data type. And we'll dump that in and we'll see as to whether or not if it takes that. And it does. Okay. Hey, I'm just happy that it worked. Especially considering the fact this is not my usual cup of tea. And it also makes me kind of wonder, okay, did Ida fill this stuff out? And that's why it's basically the big dog on campus with Ghidra technically coming in second, that it was able to sit there and convert this stuff? Or is this stuff left over in the code that, in order to make it a medium level, so like leaving code documentation in comments? God, I really had to stretch my mind for that one. It's been a while. And it also makes me wonder, okay, is this something else that Ghidra would have been able to sit there and handle? And I suppose I could just try and see as to whether or not if I can procure the same answers. So there's the badge. Hooray! Okay. So that's good. Non-shared, project name, Mac OS. That comes in. Oh, it's been so damn long since I've tried to do any of this with Ghidra. So can I just like take it and drop it? And then it runs through, it does the thing, it confirms that yes, it's Mac. Apparently the import was successful. Oh, nice, it actually gives us MD5. So is this something that's actually known? Now that's the question. Or was this just something custom created to, oh good lord. Well, that went tits up. I meant to just grab one section, and apparently it grabbed a lot from that. I just wanted the MD5, but it grabbed everything and dumped in. All right, so while that's going, I took the MD5, dumped it into VirusTotal. And so this is something that apparently wasn't just created. Where was the submission times? First submission late last year. So, okay, yeah, this has been something that's been kicking around then. Family, Amos Stealer. Yeah, I guess it would make sense. I mean, why would it bother to sit there and look for web browsers and wallets? And I think there was mention of Steam that was in there. Okay, so at least it wasn't something that was specifically created, and I'm not sitting there making somebody's day worse by running through all that. So we were looking for like functions to be read out. And again, this is not my... Okay. Parse, we get read write, we get search and grab Chromium, we get send data via HTTP, we get user info. So if like I click user info, so let's go back to this. So user info, do we get something that spells out the system pro? Yeah, it does render it out in terms of system profile, and you can kind of just basically read it from there. Okay, all right. Um, and then what was the other one? Like get Chromium and send. So do we get something that specifically calls out like what the address of this would have been? So I wouldn't have had to sit there and do the actual or make the assumption. Hey, there's the IP address in that. Oh, oops. I didn't have the window up. So yeah, what I was showing is inside of Ghidra with that sample, the underscore user info does give us the same type of system underscore profiler, although this shows spare underscore. But if we take a look to the right of that, we get the what the answer was there. And I'm just trying to see as to whether or not if this would have been something better to use. So what I'm trying to find is whether or not if we here would end up seeing like what the address would have been. Down at the bottom, push 100021 Delta Foxtrot 0, which is exactly what we had there. And then if we take a look at the search and grab Chromium, then if that's the case, if we go down to the bottom, do we get one? Yeah, okay, so we would still have to do the um, conversion. So it is there, it's just at the very bottom with Ghidra. So, okay. And then like the IP address. So we would want to try to find main. Grab, get, exec. I don't see main. Which might be the whole reason as to why they suggested to use IDA as opposed to... Unless I'm missing something in regards to how this would theoretically work. I mean, we got underscore main here. Can you... There's main. So we're going to make that side smaller. And then do you render out anything like what we observed before? Zip writer, zip. Okay, it does. It just takes a little bit. So, I mean, here we've got like, okay, the question for the browsers pop up here. So the decompile section is probably worth more to us off this. And we get the keychain, we get FileZilla, we get the wallets, we get the answer for Telegram, Discord. But we're looking for the IP address actually. So is that in here as well or no? No, that was the get data, which, okay, then yeah, that makes sense. So if we go back here, send data, and then it's basically spelled out. We found Telegram in the main, we found the Coin Ami wallets. We got the different wallets is listed in there, and then the browsers as well. Okay, so yeah, you could do it in either which way. IDA is what they typically recommend, or you could sit there and do it in Ghidra. Although you probably want to sit there and run all the options for Ghidra, and then you're going to spend most of the time trying to pay attention to stuff that's inside of here. That seems like that's going to be what you're going to end up, or how you would need to approach it. Yeah, because then if we take a look at user info, the decompiled section is what gives us the answer for the system underscore profile. Okay. Okay. We're able to sit there and turn it around and figure out how to do it in Ghidra at the same time, is what we kind of stumbled through with IDA. But so there we go. That has been the Mac OS Malware Challenge. And their questions there. Yeah. Interesting. And a nice stretch. Although, I really have to imagine if this was an actual live sample of the Stealer, that the documented stuff in there wouldn't actually be there. Unless it's just something done by IDA. I guess effectively, if you run through this and you know more in regards to IDA and Ghidra, and you can speak to the aspect of, these answers basically popping out here. Or is it just because of the fact that it sits there and it just disassembles it and this is just the actual output? So it's not a fact or an issue of, documentation comments being left in the code. It's just how this stuff gets rendered out. But so there we go. Yeah, enough waffling. Bring this to an end. And now everybody knows how to go through and actually do this. Or at least by the time this gets popped out. But the leaderboards are already filled up as it is. So this looks like this is supposed to come out March 19th, and everybody just had fun with it, which is fine. So let me get rid of that. Comes back over to here. So there we go. I guess if I'd been a little bit faster, since it's the 23rd as I record this, then maybe I would have showed up in the top 10. Oh well. But okay, all that being said, I will see everybody in the next video.